Hey team, it's Tim here from High Performance Academy. Welcome to this week's members webinar. Today we're going to be talking all about a string-based wheel alignment system. Now, for some of you that might have already taken our Motorsport wheel alignment fundamentals course, this is probably going to be a subject that's pretty familiar to you. But for a lot of other people who maybe haven't attempted their own wheel alignments before at home, hopefully today you guys will get to take a lot away from it. You'll see how simple it is and really how basic the equipment you need is to do this job for yourself, either at home or at the racetrack as well. So I hope you guys are all doing well. It's right here in the middle of winter for us. Lots of us are doing lots of snowboarding and just generally trying to keep warm during winter. Hope you guys are all managing to make the use of the summer if you're in the northern hemisphere and getting lots of time on track and stuff like that. As we always do, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a rundown of the stuff that's been going on in the workshop for us. As always, there's usually a fair bit going on. So if we just jump across to my laptop screen here, I'll just bring up a couple of workshop update photos. One of the things that's actually been going on for the workshop, in the workshop for us lately, is we've actually been adding a whole lot of new cabinets to our workshop. So before, while I wouldn't say it was terrible and messy, we've essentially been going around and adding brand new cabinets to the entire perimeter of the workshop. So this is just looking at one of the corners of the workshop, and everything you see here, everything from these top cabinets up here and everything around the bottom, it basically extends all the way around the workshop. Just to really tidy the place up, make it all look cohesive and nice and tidy. It means we've also got a lot more storage space under all the benches now, where we can keep, whether it's tools or spares or maybe parts that even coming off the cars, we can chuck them underneath the benches there, keep them tidied away, which is a really, really nice feature. There's a whole lot of different configurations of these things as well. You can see we've got a big drawer there, we've got some really big, a big cabinet there, we've got some other big cabinets down the other end as well. It's been a nice addition to really tidy the workshop up. Also in that shot, it's a shot of our little SR20 powered GT86 endurance racing car, which one of the new things that's gone onto the car recently is this rear wing, and in particular these rear wing end plates, which at the moment they're just mocked up out of aluminium. That's what we've been running on track for the moment. It was just the quickest thing for us to be able to make. We will, I'm sure, make some carbon versions of those at some point, but right now, while we're just shaking the car down and sort of learning the car with the new aero platform on it, that's just been sort of a temporary recent addition. You can also see down here is the diffuser, the rear diffuser, which is off the car at the moment. So that's looking at the underside of the car. So this arrow here, that is the rear of the diffuser, and this area down here is the front. What else is going on in this thing? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, on the front of the car. So I'm not sure if you guys would have seen this recently, maybe if Andre showed you this in the last webinar or not. But we have built a new front end for the car. So this is this big fiberglass bumper with integrated headlights and everything on the front of it. It's actually a relatively complicated piece. It's got, as well as just the normal bodywork stuff like headlights and the bumper and everything itself, it also has to integrate with the splitter, which is actually a relatively complicated shape down the bottom. It's got air inlets for both the oil coolers, the intercooler, the radiator, and down here this is the inlet for the brake duct as well. There's actually a fair bit going on with that, but that's been pretty successful. We've run that on track now a couple of times, and we're certainly finding some gains, particularly in the cooling department. Actually, you know, a lot of the stuff was all around trying to, while we had ducting and everything in the front of it, it just wasn't quite as effective as making sure all of the air went to where it needs to go. There was some paths where the air could take like an easier path out rather than going through one of our heat exchangers. So at the moment, things are relatively well sealed, and most of the air is actually going where it needs to go, which we are seeing gains in when we're looking at all the temperatures and the data when we're running on track. This is another workshop update photo here. This is our fab room, which is just off to the side of our main workshop, and this is a photo I just took this morning. Essentially, we've had everything out of here, and this is just part of the way of everything going back into it. You can see we've got a nice shiny painted floor now. All of the whole fab room has been painted a single grey colour, whereas before it was a bit of a hodgepodge of different colours, as that room's had a few different purposes over the years. You can see we've got a couple of matching cabinets down the back there as we've got the main workshop. Jimmy, our fabricator, has gone through and built these benches down the side. And he's still in the process of actually putting that back together right now as we speak, which is just behind me here in the main studio. So really we're just trying to tidy the whole place up and make it a bit more of an effective work environment for everyone as well. One of the things we noticed recently, this is a shot of one of our TPMS sensors off our SR20 powered GT86. We've actually had the TPMS system drop out, and it's been a little bit of debugging to try and work out what's going on, but we've actually narrowed it down to, it's actually got the batteries in it have run out of charge, which is something that does happen from time to time. Because all 4 of them went down at the same time, we weren't really expecting that to be the case, but it looks like we do actually have to replace the batteries. And the good thing about this particular sensor, this is an izzeracing branded sensor, is they do actually have replaceable batteries. The vast majority of TPMS or tyre pressure monitoring system sensors out there don't actually have replaceable batteries, which, while it doesn't actually usually make them that much cheaper, but the big problem with them is if your batteries obviously go flat, then that's it, the sensor's done. It is probably possible to pull them apart and replace the batteries, but just considering how sensitive they are and the relatively unpleasant environment they've got to take part in, survive in as well, it's not something I've ever done, is replace the batteries. But the nice thing about this one is that batteries are actually replaceable. So I just took a shot of this on the bench before. This is a shot of that sensor sitting upside down. So essentially this is the battery here, and you can see there's a little bit of potting material and everything, and there's a couple of little terminals in the that little circuit board there, which lines up with these terminals here on the battery. So the idea here is that you just pull the back off the TPMS sensor. You can just depot the back of it and then pull the battery out and replace it with a sort of generic industrial style little disc battery. I thought I'd just show you guys a little bit exactly how that TPMS sensor, how it looks when you want to buy one of these things and what it's all about. So essentially, as I said, this is an izzeracing product. You can see here in this cross section, you can see our rim down here, and you can see the sensor sitting inside the rim. So this is where the valve stem pokes through from the inside of the rim through. It sort of holds the sensor in place, and then that's the part that allows you to get onto the outside and check your tyre pressures and pump the tyres up and stuff like that. There's a couple of interesting sensors on board, but probably the main 2 interesting ones is obviously we get our internal pressure, which is the main point of having a tyre pressure monitoring system on there. But really, what's a really nice feature of this particular sensor is it's got this temperature array here, which is what you can see with these colored lines up here. I think it's a 16 channel, yeah, there it is, 16 channel infrared array. So the idea, we can get a resolution of 16 different points across the inside surface of a tire to understand what's happening with the way the tire is being loaded. So while it's definitely a useful thing to be able to take a pyrometer and check the tyre temperature distribution on the outside surface of the tyre when you're at the track, it's really taking it into another whole nother level, being able to check the carcass temperature from the inside of the tyre with your tyre pressure sensors. So this is a really nice little tool that we've got fitted to one of the cars, and as soon as we get those batteries replaced, we'll be back up and running, and we'll have all that data and information back to us, which we are definitely looking forward to. So guys, we have got a giveaway running at the moment, which is an Ecumaster PMU. So lots of different manufacturers use all sorts of different terms for these. PMU is one, which means power management unit. You can also hear PDM, or power distribution module. Essentially all it means is it's a complete replacement of getting rid of all of the fuses in your car, and allows you to use solid state drives inside of the solid state transistors, inside of the PMU unit, to allow you to switch power on and off, whether it's things like just supplying power to maybe one of your engine systems, like your injectors or your coils, or it could be powering a fuel pump, it could be powering a radiator fan. You've got the ability to control a whole lot of logic in there as well. So the idea is you can get rid of all of your sort of manual relays and fuses, and everything can be done with this same unit. So whether it's doing logic control, whether it's cutting a circuit if it senses a short or an overcurrent protection, it's something that you'll see in a lot of higher end motorsport cars, and they're definitely starting to filter down into the sort of club level as well. And Ecumaster are one of those brands that are definitely making that more accessible. There's a huge amount of functionality and value packed into these little PMUs. And this package we're giving away for free as a giveaway is a one of the Ecumaster PMUs, and also a VIP membership to all of our training courses as well, to go along with that, to help you calibrate it, set it up, make it communicate with everything else, all of that stuff. VIP membership is a massive benefit. It gives you access to all of our current training courses, all of our future training courses. You'll never pay for another course again. So I encourage you guys definitely to go and jump on that sign up. It is free to sign up. You can find it if you go to our Instagram page, you'll find the sign up there. So definitely go and check that one out, guys. One of the videos I wanted to point you guys towards was one of the recent ones we put out, which was all about math channels. So this is a free lesson taken from one of our data analysis courses, which is all about how to both what meth channels are, how to program them, different ways you can use them, whether it's inside the logger or whether it's inside your analysis software after the fact. Meth channels are definitely a cornerstone of anything to do with data analysis. They really help you take your data analysis to a much higher level than just looking at the basic log channels. So I encourage you to go and check that out on our YouTube channel. You can see we've got the title of it down here, basic features that can save you hours. If you just search meth channel on the HPA YouTube channel, you will have no trouble finding that video. There's lots of really good information. As I said, it's taken straight from one of our data analysis courses, and it's completely freely available to you guys as well. Now, I had a look through the forum and I was looking for a forum post that might be relevant, particularly to today's lesson, and I found this one here, which is simply stated as measuring toe, which you can find under the Motorsport Wheel Alignment Fundamentals course if you're looking for it in our forum. So this is all about one of our members, Lee, was asking about the best place to go ahead and measure the toe from. So as you'll see today, the idea behind measuring toe is if you've got, let's say you've got your front wheels looking towards the front of the car here, the way we're usually measuring toe in a motorsport context anyway is by measuring the distance from some flat reference to the direction the tyre is pointing. So if we had toe in, we would have a longer measurement at the front, and we'd have a shorter measurement at the back. And this question was really about the best place to actually take those measurements from. And Lee mentioned that he thought the best place to do it was from the tyre, and I think part of his reasoning there was all about trying to minimize the difference of using different diameter rims on your toe measurement. Obviously, when you use a different diameter rim, it's going to affect your toe measurement. My preference is to do all my measurements at the rim. The tyres themselves, there's quite a lot of variability in the surface of them. They're certainly not as repeatable of a surface as to measure off when you're measuring off something like an aluminium rim or a steel rim, whatever type of rims you got fitted to your car. That should be, or at least in theory anyway, a lot more of a repeatable place to do all of your toe measurements compared to measuring at the tyre surface. Whether it's about having a different profile on the outside for some lettering on the sidewall, or just the natural variability you get out of a rubber tyre surface compared to a machined rim surface. So my preference there is always to measure at the rim. You do have to account for any differences if you're using different rim diameters in your toe measurements, but generally in all cases, you're usually running the same size rims throughout the season, so you can use your back-to-back toe measurements rather than using a toe angle. Anyway, if you guys are interested in checking that out, I definitely recommend you go ahead and check that forum post out, which is just under measuring toe in the Motorsport Wheel Alignment forum. So guys, as always, we always have more courses in development. I talked about it in one of my last webinars, but it's just to say that we have our Motorsport suspension course coming out soon. That's in the final stages of production at the moment, which is going to be a real 101, everything about motorsport suspension to help you guys understand how everything works from a geometry perspective, choosing your spring rates, tuning dampers, measuring center of gravity, all of that stuff that's really the basics of suspension and vehicle dynamics. It's going to be a really fantastic course that's coming out soon. And I'm also currently in production for a motorsport brake systems course as well. So if either of those courses are interesting to you, I definitely recommend keeping an eye on our website, because they will be coming up in the next few months. Guys, remember, just before we get to the end of the pre-show here, remember, check out that PMU or that Ecumaster PMU/PDM giveaway that we've got. Obviously the VIP membership, which is a massive bonus all by itself, but of course that access to that Ecumaster PMU unit, which is something we actually use on our own race cars as well. We can definitely vouch for them being a really good value for money and high quality product as well. Okay guys, that's it for the end of the pre-show. I'll come back to you in a second where we're going to get right in today's lesson all about doing DIY wheel alignment. If you liked that video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already a subscriber, make sure you subscribe. We're constantly releasing new videos, and if you like free stuff, we've got a great deal for you. Click the link in the description of this video to claim your free spot to our next live lesson.